Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear friends. Once again, you are welcome to another exciting episode of Empowerment Talks with Comfort. So today is very exciting because I've got another VIP in the house, and you all just need to stay tuned. And the person we are going to be listening to today, who is going to share of his rich experience, he is a minister of God who has ministered almost all over the United States of America and Africa. He is a philanthropist. He is an author precisely of gospel literature. He is a man of noble character and integrity who commands a lot of respect. He is, of course, a family man, and he brings with him today decades of experience in what he is best at doing. And so while I usher him to the platform, I would call on you all to subscribe, to share, to hit some thumbs up as we welcome no one else but His Excellency, Chaplain Dr. Stephen Olujimi, aka Dr. O. So Dr. O, you are very welcome to Empowerment Talks.
Thank you very much, my beloved sister Comfort. I am so glad to be invited to this platform, and I want to thank everyone for spending this time with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. It's really an honor that you could take time to come here and talk to us. So you're really welcome once again. So if you could please tell us, what part of the world exactly are you calling in from?
Now, I am in the United States of America. I am in Washington, D.C. Metropolitan area, by the grace of God.
So like I just said in the introduction, you have behind you decades of experience in both your missionary and charitable works. So tell us, please, how it all started, when it all started, and what you have been doing from then till now.
Wow. Yeah, thank you very much. Originally, I came from Africa. I mean, as you know, to be exact, from Nigeria. I've always known in my life, all through my life, that God has a specific purpose for me. And, one thing as a child of God, one thing after you are saved, the next thing that's very important to anyone in life is to find your purpose. There is no such one, no single person on the face of the earth that has no purpose. But we have purpose undiscovered. Discovering your purpose in life is extremely, essential. As a matter of fact, that is what it is. Everyone should be in search of purpose in life. And then there are a lot of pointers into how you discover and how you know this is your calling. I mean, that's a subject for another day.
Sure.
So while I was in New York, and I'm just passionate for the needy, the downtrodden and everything. Not that I had myself much, but one thing I discovered about purpose is that you don't have to be very rich to be passionate for those that are poor. You may be poor and you still love the poor and want to help the poor. Okay, and the passion was there, and but I came in, of course, coming to this country, and I first worked briefly as a medical technician, okay, in a lab in Brooklyn, New York City, and then until a time when actually there was this issue in the 80s of HIV when it first came, just like the world was hit by this pandemic. Right now HIV kind of came in, and so it really was so bad, so terrifying. And because I was, as a lab technician, I was dealing a lot with blood and, EKG and X-ray, dealing with people and everything. So that kind of really scared me anyway. And so I kind of moved away. And then I I work with insurance companies. Since the lab I was working with, we were dealing with insurance companies, those who want to buy life insurance and all the rest of them. So that actually moved. I was scared of this HIV and, dealing with blood, and my refrigerator, I hope have a whole lot of blood in my refrigerator overnight. I mean, weekend and everything like that. And I went to study insurance. I studied charter property and casualty underwriting, in Murray College of Insurance in New York City. And, and then of course, I worked on that a little bit. And in 1990, the Lord actually spoke clearly to me and called me to full time and said, you know what, I brought you this far, but I really want you to do what others merely preach. I mean, all along while I was doing that, I was an evangelist and assistant pastor. I mean, my Christian life had been dated back to before I came into this country anyway. So that was how I transitioned from then. The Lord in December 1990 specifically, God said enough of everything. I have a bigger vision for you. Right. And that was how the Lord called me to full-time ministry. And that was how, then of course I launched out, and then, I kind of stay in my area of passion. I really care so much for people that don't have ways of loving the unlovable, as I call it. And then of course the downtrodden, the needy people. And I usually frequent shelter and the homeless people on the streets in the Bronx, New York. And I go to the shelter. I have a team of other missionaries and people that have of like-minded. So we go to the shelter. We, minister to them. We gather clothing and everything. And so we minister to people in the shelter. And then, of course, I had the opportunity to work with the director of social services in the shelter there in the Bronx. And so we will take care of them, and, we minister to the homeless people there, and we train them. We read the law as it affects the homeless people. We approach the contractors, we approach people, we help us to hire them, and those who we train them. So a lot of areas like that, we're able to pull a lot of homeless people out of the shelter in what we tagged from jobless to, from homeless to, from homeless to something,
Sheltered.
That was a particular tag. So, but I tell you, by the grace of God, we're able to pull a lot of people out of the shelter. And then they came in, and then they opened my vision. I began to realize that what people are going through is just more than just not having a roof over their head. Marriages are broken, children, abandoned their fathers, and the reason why many people became homeless, became more and more obvious to me, and so on and so forth like that. I mean, generally people think that homeless people they are stupid, they are idiots, they are drug addicts, they are everything. I mean, some may be like that, but a lot are not. I've met bachelor's degree holder in the shelter, master's degree in the shelter. I've met people who at once upon the time had 2-3 houses in the shelter, 1 or 2-3 cars. Bad divorce caused all the setback. And so, I mean, that increased my love and my passion for them. And many of them are crying for help. Many of them, they don't, of course, some of them really want to remain there, because we offer many of them job who might say, I don't want to wait on anyone to give me salary. I'm good. I've been on the street for 20-30 years. I don't want, but a lot of people are crying for help. They want to get out. They want to really give back to the community and everything. So that really broadens my vision. And that was how, that really was how the whole thing started, and just continued to go on and on. And then, of course, 1995, I moved to this, to where I am right now. In between that 1995, I lived in some few other places, and I've seen homelessness and the need in Detroit, Michigan, in Chicago. I lived there in Providence, Rhode Island, and and so on and so forth. Like, so all these places, I see the need, I see the homelessness, I see hunger, and I know what it means to be in that situation because of how I was born and raised, from humble family myself. So I mean, so it's a whole lot of, it's a very big story. So.
Wow. This is really interesting. At this level, what I get is like your passion has always been like you're tackling two things at the same time, which according to you are inseparable, because you've been tackling the spiritual and the physical well-being and needs of individuals. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So it's
yeah, because for instance, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, it's very clear that people need God. They need Christ. They need to really understand. They need to stay connected, and then of course there are a lot of issues that, as you handle spiritually, I believe in what I call prayer and action. Okay, that's definitely my philosophy. Prayer and action. You got to pray and you got to do that. A lot of things that there are things that prayer will not do. I mean, some people might criticize me for saying that, but that's the truth. I mean, you can dispute my theology, you cannot dispute my experience. Exactly. There are things that prayer will not do. So you pray and you act. So I mean, I believe in those. As a result of that, both spiritual and the physical support, that's what we've been giving to people, and we continue to do.
Oh, this sounds interesting. I am a born-again Baptist, so I know what it means ministering the word of God to people.
Amen.
Did you succeed? Have you succeeded in winning like a good number of souls? I know it's easier reaching out to people with physical needs, but when it comes to addressing spiritual needs, it's always challenging. How much have you done in the sphere of like reaching out and successfully converting people and spiritually?
Well, yeah, very great question. I want to make it very clear that our goal is not actually let's go there and go and convert people.
Right. Okay.
That's definitely not my goal. I never thought of that one time. However, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Okay, so in the process of doing what we do, people begin to see and say you are different. I always tell people that when missionaries first came to Africa, they didn't come with Bible in their hand, hitting people at the head and say, accept Jesus Christ, as many will want to do today. That was not how they came. They came to Africa with passion. They came with love. They came with, with that agape love, and they care for people. They bind the wounds and they care for, they care for every kind of, things, and they do nursing. They heal, those that are sick and everything like that, and they minister to the needs of people. And then people begin to wonder, who are you? I mean, so
right.
I mean, that is how it is. So we since it's not about church, it's not about religion, it's about humanity. And then, so when people say how much you care, then they want to come close to you. They want to know, what is that? What is that spirit that is in you? How can I be part of this? People have seen wickedness, they have seen evil, they have seen, every kind of atrocities out there. When they see something different, I've heard over and over again, many people say, you know what, you have given us a different definition of a church, of pastors, because, I've heard people say, you know what, I've been disappointed, at pastors, and I really don't want to have anything to do with church or with pastors anymore. I mean, there are some countries that if you want to, you are talking to someone, you want to have business partner or anything, and you think that at the moment you say, I'm a pastor, you finish, you are gone. I mean, that's it, because they have seen a lot of pastors, quote unquote, who
exactly.
So as a result of that, but when people see, the Bible says, by their fruits you will know them. So I've seen people then to, in the process of time, I've seen people say, you know what you believe in, I love it. That's what I want to believe. I want to have that kind of spirit that you have. And then they come, not because we want them to come. We never make conversion a reason for supporting anyone. In many of the programs that we do, we have Muslims. We have Muslims, even with their hijabs. Many of them right inside the church, inside the hall, or wherever we do our training and everything like that. So they come there. It's not about church. We make it very clear. But then, of course, I've seen a Muslim ask, "Give me a Bible," because of course, I'm not going to deny the fact that this is a God calling. This is a holy calling. Sure. I'm not doing it by my strength. I am a servant of Christ. I'm an ambassador of heaven. So I don't hide this. I'm so proud to say I'm a Christian. I'm a born again Christian. And I will say that on the rooftop, anywhere. So, but then when they see that and it's like, then of course, they ask questions and I answer them. Whatever they want to do, we help them to do it and we support them.
Wow, I think what you are saying now, it just binds to, or it coins. It's not a coincidence, I want to call it, but there's a 3-day devotion I had, which had to do with your influence in any platform that you are running. So whoever wrote the devotion says, you're calling, you don't necessarily need to go out with the word of God. You can do anything and serve God in that thing. And so that is the perspective you come from, even though originally you are like that, but then you are humanitarian. And in the course of doing that, you serve God, even though humanitarian itself is still a calling from God. So it's a dual thing that you are carrying on all your life. It sounds really interesting. And you just said something that it's really going to be embossed on my heart. You say, yeah, you may be poor and still be passionate about helping the poor. So I think that is something, a lesson to take home, especially from my own part. I've tried to look at your biography, and you have not told us. I think there's a bit more we would still like to know. The Faithful Stewards Medical and Educational Foundation, which is with the acronym FAST-MED. So tell us a bit more, because I've read you have done so much in that, especially in the medical field and so on and so forth. Give us a bit more detail of what you've been doing with FAST-MED.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we have Faithful Steward Ministry as a ministry, and we have FAST-MED, Faithful Steward Medical and Educational Foundation. Okay, now basically they are not two different ministries. They are basically the same ministry, the same vision. Okay, what happened was that Faithful Steward is the name we registered in the United States of America many years ago. All right, and then when like I told you, ministering to the homeless people, to the needy and everything, when eventually the Lord gave us the go ahead to extend our services to Africa, and then of course registration. The very name Faithful Steward was not available. I like to do everything I want to do legally. I like to do it right. And so, when I got back into Nigeria on the visit, when this was about to start, we have to register. And then the word Faithful Steward is not available. Besides, even if it is available, it does not really, encompass everything that we are coming to the ground with. Okay, because Faithful Stewards ministries make it look like it is Christian. They won't want me and everything like that. So we kind of have to kind of bring it in a way that we let people know that this is not a church thing. Okay, this is about humanity. And then, of course, Faithful Steward Medical and Educational Foundation, it encompasses our vision in the area of the medical, because I had a personal experience. My immediate younger brother died senselessly, in Nigeria many years ago. And a lot of people that, I lost a few people around me that ought not to be so. And I've been involved in the medical thing. For instance, my background was Catholic. I was in Catholic for many years. And then working with Reverend Fathers and Reverend Sisters and all that, we started clinics in our parish then in Lagos, that which of course became a big kind of clinic and elderly care today. They are still there. We started it in the early 70s, 72 and 73, thereabout. And so my passion has always been there, about people that are sick. Praise God, I've always been in good health all my life. But when I see people around me that are not in good health, that kind of bother me. So the health area, then the education. I believe that God said in the Bible, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So it has been my heart desire to educate, to let people really get education, to get involved. People have been taken advantage of because of total ignorance. Even in the church, okay, even in the church, in the body of Christ, a lot of people are crept into the church. I used to say that pastors have gone, haywire, they've turned evil and everything, until the Holy Spirit corrected me that no, pastor, the people that I call are not. They are not those that are doing this. But evil people have crept into the church and taken title of pastors. Okay, so it's the other way around. And so because of that, unless people are educated and enlightened, they will continue to fall prey of these people. So as a result of that, many of these people are feeding on the sheep rather than feeding the sheep.
The sheep.
So we need education. So by Faithful Steward Medical and Educational Foundation, gives us opportunity as we grow to actually be able to do anything on the medical. Not only, we do a lot of medical mission, free medical mission to rural areas and everything, and we meet a lot of issues in the process. We meet children that we end up taking them and really taking care of them and put them in the orphanage and everything, motherless and so on and so forth like that. We a lot of people that has serious situations but they are financially incapacitated, couldn't finance their surgeries and everything. They bring them to us. And in fact, if you go to our Facebook or our website, you see a lot of these videos there. People with some huge you probably see that,
I saw
so
that,
that
yeah.
we have to sponsor their surgeries and everything like that. So that was there. Education also was there. So that was how the Faithful Steward Medical and Educational Foundation gave us the opportunity that in the area of education, with their registration, we can actually go even up to having the full-fledged, full-blown hospital.
Yeah.
And then with the in the education sector, we can grow education system up to university level. So that FastMed kind of gave us the opportunity to really bring all that God has sent us and really bring as a result of that, under the FastMed, we have team of doctors, team of medical personnel on ground in Nigeria, so that when we travel, we don't necessarily have to. Before, we used to have, nurses and doctors travel with us from here, but kind of very expensive. But now with when we now kind of begin to share our vision with medical folks on ground, we have a lot of medical doctors and nurses and midwives and all the different areas of medical, surgeons and ophthalmologists and all the rest of them on ground. So that wherever we are coming, we just say, okay, we're going to be in so place. So the nearest medical personnel around there, we come. We have medical director that is national medical director. We have some state medical directors on ground. We have director of nursing and everything on ground, particularly in Nigeria. So we are able to do all of those. And then, of course, under that, we built community healthcare center. We built for free. That means that we built from ground up. The community donated a land to us. They gave us a dilapidated building that's been abandoned for many years. We put it down, we built it ground up, and we brought in Minister of Health, of that very particular state in Nigeria. We dedicated it, and we're running it. And we're running for free. We're not charging anyone. As a matter of fact, I got a very good news yesterday. A baby was born in our center yesterday, just this yesterday. Wow. I was so excited because we have midwives there in that team now. That they're all on salary. We have doctors on call that they come in attend to, and then not only that, we run diabetics and hypertension clinics where we know all those who are suffering from these silent killers. They come together every month. We examine them. And then, of course, we give them the medication sufficient until they come next month, and we supply, on ongoing like that, because it's expensive for them to maintain, themselves, and this is a very, very deadly situation. So, we're able to do all of those, and we do many other things under this. So, I don't know if you're familiar with what we call cooperative societies.
Sure. Okay.
We register. We have, I think, about 19 or 20 cooperative societies now that we register in Nigeria, in different states. We give people free interest loan. Under the cooperative, they're able to get more loan to expand. We have 30 different things that we can train people. They can produce on their own, like bath soap, like liquid soap, like many things that people use day by day in their kitchens and everything like that. So they have to mix these chemicals to produce such and everything like that. So we have all of this going on. So we're able to take a lot of people out of their poverty, and they can now fend for themselves and really be doing well. And there are a lot of students, so they come into our training. There are colleges that sent in their students to us, for training, so that when they go, the joblessness is big out there, so that they can start on what we've taught them. Several of them register their businesses after they graduate, not with what they learned from school, but from what we taught them. And they register, and they are producing one or two of the things that we train them. It's we've been really touching lives, and a lot of things. A lot of people have been really praising and glorifying God for what He's using us to do for them.
This is really amazing. It's so amazing. I have a lot of questions to follow up because I can't just, it's really mind blowing listening to all of this. So I would like to start with the last part of the cooperative, where
Okay.
you give interest-free loans. I
Okay.
believe that many people's lives must have been changed through this. But
Mm.
the issue here is about managing money. Have you been able to have a good number of your people been able to like come back with the consciousness that this money really helped me? I'm going to repay my loan so that somebody else can benefit from it. What kind of challenges have you had in this sphere of cooperative?
Okay. Well, of course, we've had our own share of challenges. Now, by the name faithful steward, one of the things that we do, we try to teach people about the faithfulness. Okay, what the
Mm.
Bible teaches about being faithful. All right, and but unfortunately, a lot of people, they came in to us with their preconceived evil mindset. They
Mhm.
come into, there's something Nigeria or Africa called 419. They come to,
I know, of course.
they just come. They know what they're coming to do. I mean, an example of that is some 50 years ago, thereabout, a particular guy who really claimed to be an expert in this cooperative setting in
Mm.
Nigeria worked with us. Okay. And then, of course, we did, we gather people, we train them. And after the training, we give them, a different amount of money based upon what they are capable of handling. They have the form they fill out, what you've been doing and what can you do. So there are some, if it's 10,000, 50,000, whatever can fit in and help you to do what you want to do.
Right.
And then, of course, they were to pay that back because the list was so long that we just can't say we give you. And besides, we want to take people to be responsible and to know how to coordinate themselves and manage resources that to give them. And so in the process of time, this money were given out and people were paying because they have to come every 2 weeks, for more training. And then, of course, for record keeping and paying back. And the disappointment did not come from them, but from the coordinator, the man who was supposed to. So what happened was that this was about 15 years ago. So it came to a time when I called him and I said, okay, I will be arriving, I'll be in town by so time and all that. And it's, oh, okay. So he called the rest of them. He called all the other assistants and, zonal coordinators and everything. So he gathered all the records, all the cards. They all have the card they mark when you pay to sign that you pay and everything like that. He gathered all of that. He said he wanted to update all the record because Pastor Daddy is coming and so he can give an account.
Right.
He gathered all this. Guess what he did? It disappeared. So in other words, and all the money that people have returned and everything, he makes sure he didn't reissue them as they were returning it.
Yeah.
This one thinks is given to that thing is given to that and everything. And then, of course, all the record that would have proven all of this. So, and here was someone, some newspaper actually they gave us coverage. Wow. It was right there in the newspaper. I still have some paper clips of some of this. That was how it disappeared. Wow. And then, of course, there are several people that also individually are proven to be very unfaithful also. Mm-hmm. Okay, they just came in, and rather than really you want to support them, they're going to come in with some bogus kind of thing they want to do. They want to rent an office, they want to do this, they want to do that, and everything like that. You give them, and as soon as they got a one-time support, they run away. And I'm like, you're hurting yourself, you're not hurting me. So if you do that to me, if you do that to me once, you fool me once and you are a fool. Fool me twice, so you fool yourself. Period. That's what it is. So we've experienced all that. However, now by the grace of God, in the last 10 years or thereabout, God who saw our faithfulness has really helped us and given us stability. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of faithful people on ground, which is the most important thing in any country. You know,
Wow.
so we have faithful medical team on ground who will never, they just will not disappoint. In fact, when I say we're coming on ground, we're going to be in this area, I have more nurses and doctors than I need. Okay.
Wow.
Then of course, then we have head of departments of different areas that I mean they are faithfully doing what assignment we give them to do, and we are so very happy. In the last a year and a half or thereabout now, we've not been able to travel to Africa. But guess what? I mean, our ministry did not stop.
Wow.
We send support to them, and they are doing all that they need to do. And sometimes I'll Zoom like this, or on the conference call to meet with all the HODs and have meetings with them, and then give me the report. Everything is going on very well. So God has really blessed us with people on ground. So.
All right. Yeah, I would like to for us to continue by asking that question, because what you are doing is really massive. Providing free medical care, all the health centers, and then the diabetes screening and all those. It's not cheap. I'm a nurse. I know what all that means. So what has been your source of funding?
Like I said, this whole thing started in New York City, and I was working. I was just, my little resources was what I started with. Okay, whatever from my little salary, whatever I can do, that was what I do. I take advantage of the foreign exchange. If 1,000 here, you will be shocked what $1,000 could do for people in Africa. Okay, we started that way, and then at a point, reaching out into the homeless people, to the shelter and everything. In 1995, I came to all along. Now that was a pastor. It's a white guy, very, very fantastic, wonderful guy. Pastor Paul. His ministry, it was based in Connecticut, and it was starting a branch of a church in the Bronx. He met me once, and we kind of talked. He asked the question just like you did. How I understand you did this great job. How are you doing it? And I said, well, the grace of God, my little income and everything like that. And he said, okay, you know what? I'll take offering for you once every month. That was, I'm talking about 1989, 1990, and all that. And then, of course, he would send some of his workers, some of his elders in the church to come and support us, because we cook, we provide food for the homeless people, we feed them once every week. And then those who are interested in listening to the gospel, we let them listen. We can't force them, but if you want to, and everything like that. And then, of course, eventually, I like I said, I lived in some other few, countries. I mean, other few states like Chicago, like Detroit, Michigan, and all the rest of them. So finally, in Providence, Rhode Island. So Providence, Rhode Island, I came to, in 1995 was when I came to this area, this Maryland, DC, Maryland metropolis. And then, of course, I continued doing, going to the shelter, going on the street to feed homeless people and everything. So a guy saw me one day, and he came close, and he looked, and so he met me a couple of times, and he got fascinated with what we were doing. And he asked, and I said, do you know that you can let government know what you are doing, and they can support you actually to do more? And I'm like, okay, how? Because I have tried this in New York many years ago, when I tried to let government know what we are doing, and they came to look at where we are feeding, and they were more interested in the environment where we are feeding more than the need of people. And they started telling me that, oh, you can't feed people here, you can't eat, what if this happens? And I'm like, is that what these people need? It's not about the environment. So think about the need of these people and everything. But you know what? They were giving me out time, and I just shut that down. And I said, so that was my experience about government, getting into what we do. I know it is necessary for them to regulate what you do, but not really, when the environment become more important than the people that you are supporting. So I shared my experience with him, and he said, you know what? This is it. I mean, go and register. So I introduced me into this program, and then I registered with the government, with the Department of Health. And so that discussion gave back to actually what we call group home in the care setting. Okay. And then, of course, I started ministering to caring for the people with bipolar, with, and everything, and, with schizophrenia, and had a group home for them, and government will pay us for doing that. Okay, so that is how then eventually I'll be at least whatever that's left, and everything, we're able to kind of extend that to, to other folks that are on the street and everything, continue to do what we are doing. So now got into that's the small business that we still do till now. My children runs it, health care agency, whatever little research, family and everything. That is. Then there are few people that are supporting. I have just one guy, by the grace of God, who's really saw what we're doing, really loved it, and he said, "You know what? I will support you with $1,000 annually."
Oh,
okay. I'm just saying this for you and those who here to know, especially some people from Africa, looking at the magnitude of what we do. There are people in Africa who think that there's an organization that is pouring money into us and everything. I say, no. You understand? This guy, 1,000 every year. Then by the following year, it increased to 2,000 every year. That is great and big coming from one person. But I tell you, compare with what we do, it's nothing. It's nothing much. You understand?
Right.
Then I had a guy at a time who also pledged $10 every month for 1 year. Faithfully, he did it. He gave us $10 a month for 1 year. And then, of course, right now we have a couple of people. I had a woman, who has been giving us like $100 every month. I think it's for a year and 2 months now. So I would say that's about all. A couple of people, like 50 today, maybe send 25, maybe twice a year. So but generally it's been the grace of God. Seriously, when I look into what God is helping us to do for people and with people, I look back and ask myself, how are we doing it?
Wow.
However, let me make this thing very clear.
Yeah.
A lot of time when I travel out to Africa, I cry my way back to the United States. You know why? Because I left a lot of things undone. I see need that we're not able to do. I literally cry my way back, and people asking the plane, "Are you okay? What happened? Somebody died on it?" Nobody died. I just can't take my mind off people that I left and not able to minister to them. So that is so. But we don't. That is one thing about mission work. Whatever little you could do, that's what you do. You are nothing else. If you have more, you do more.
Yeah, this is really big, and I really feel good listening to all of this, and I could not wait but listen to all of it. I know it's not all, because you will come here over and over until you tell us everything you are doing, because we just want to join in. No People are waiting out there; they don't know where to start from. Listening to this is going to be really helpful. So this takes us now to the crux of the day. We were here because we want to share a business opportunity presented by a wonderful company called Unpassive. Okay. And now, so you are doing already just so much that I cannot even measure. But apart from that, you are such a committed founding member of Unpassive that you do everything from your own personal perspective to see it move on until we get to the launch. So how do you think that Unpassive is going to help to improve your activities, your missionary, philanthropic activities? How much are you expecting from Unpassive do you think it's going to make things better for you?
Oh my God. The answer is yes.
I know.
I just
you fired up just.
Oh my goodness. I remember I've had a privilege of speaking on the global webinar.
Me too, yeah.
I think that was in July or so last year.
Yeah.
And I've been privileged in my life to be on a platform, in different auditorium where I administer to 4,000, 5,000 people, 100, 410, both big or small. But on Passive, first of all, I had the privilege of speaking to a platform where you have people from 212 countries. Okay.
Right.
And I remember I shared something. One of the things that I said, is this, that a lot of people have books that will never be written. In fact, that are the richest plot of land on the planet Earth is the graveyard. Okay. Graveyard has really swallowed a lot of visions that never come, that was never realized, a lot of books that were never written, a lot of songs that were never sung, a lot of ideas that never saw the light of day. Okay, so now with me particularly, and everyone that has the mind that really, honestly, that is where my instant love for our CEO, Ash Mufara, came in. I mean, when I saw the heart of gold that this one has and everything about, I compared him on that very day when I was able to speak, I compared him to Mother Teresa, larger than Mother Teresa, because, I mean, I told you, earlier, I said, a lot of time I cry my way back when, after I exhausted the little that I had, and I know that I let people, as we speak now, I mean, there are calls, there are texts, I started yesterday and I was calculating what I need right now and everything like that. I wish if on passive at launch, I wouldn't have to worry about them. There are a lot of things that we need to do that are on ground, a lot of ongoing things. I mean, we have, this, our health care, we have staff there, we're paying them, they're on salary. They're not volunteers. We're paying them. And all that and many other things. I mean, the cooperative that we talk about, there are many people that we really want to train more people, want to give this loan. We have the machinery, we have human resources, we have people that are faithful and wonderful, ready to work. But when on passive launches, Lord God Almighty, that will be so great. We'll be able to minister to a lot of, I mean, passive is an answer to millions of people's prayers, period. And we're just glad to be, to be able to know and to be part of passive.
Right. So right here, I am talking to you as someone who is a minister of God. And I know that we cannot separate the two. They are like two missions in one, humanitarian. And so you are serving God from two perspectives.
That's right.
And both of them are biblical. One of the issues I have talking to a few Christian or religious people is that they don't want to join on passive because they believe that with the use of tools, they can go to fetch money from sources that are like undignifying and against the Bible. And so they cannot join on passive. And you are a man of God. On the other hand, you are so passionate about on passive. Can you clarify, give a reason why anybody is supposed to be part of on passive? Especially say every Christian, because or every religious person, because people are
thank you very much. I mean, great question. Let me share my experience with you. I mean, in that very area, a pastor called me one day. A woman, well respected, woman pastor, a missionary also, and she said, "Oh, pastor, I share on passive with someone, and this woman said that, oh, this is one of the signs of the end time. This is because what happened was that person looked and saw, where our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufara, okay, I don't want to put my hand. I don't want to take, because now you see when we have the translator, those who translate to
the sign language.
The sign language. And then there was a particular sign language where that's something, either I thank you or love you or something like that. So that the ladies did, and then Mr. Ash put his hand like that. And I think there was a screenshot, and that person saw that screenshot. You know what she said? She said that was a sign of the occultic and people that are in this, Now, what I'm trying to say, and then of course, she really was so angry with that woman who introduced on passive to her and said, and you are supposed to be a woman of God. Don't you see that sign your CEO made? He said, now this brings me down to this. Ignorance, people.
No.
Our people are ignorant. The Bible said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Ignorant, that's what is killing our people. For instance, how on earth is a platform like this? Now you are in the UK. I'm here in the United States. We are meeting, we are chatting, we are sharing something that will be beneficial to the world. How is this evil? How is this going to send anybody to hell? For God's sake. Educational platform, never been seen before, that Unpassive will bring. How is this going to kill people? Now, if there hasn't been anything like Zoom or the likes where they can do the ministry when there was lockdown, how would they have been meeting? And I see many of them flying all their wallet and all the account numbers and everything on the platform, on different Zoom and different meeting platform today to send the money. Many of the things that ignorant in the past, that they are condemning in the past, many of the things they were using it today, that are those who have been against television, who have been against every development, every new thing that comes, they will be against it, because especially Africa, our people are so ignorant, for God's sake. And so now, for instance, 5G came up, they said that is the son of the Antichrist. And that, so once the 5G is going to kill everybody. I mean, you see all the less than 5G, all the 2G, 3G that have been around as not killers. Technology, you see, my appeal to everyone is this. There's no such thing. There is nothing Unpassive. I've been with Unpassive, with this company, our company, my company. I've been in this company now for about 2 years. There is absolutely nothing Unpassive will bring on ground that is not technology that the world needs. There is nothing, there is no source where they're going to, Unpassive will get money that is demonic. Absolutely not. I mean, people need to wise up. They need to, you see, a preacher said, and I sincerely believe, he said, when Muslims go to the mosque, before they enter the mosque, they put their shoes on the doorstep. When Christians want to enter the church, they put their brain at the doorstep. And then Muslim enter the mosque without their shoes, but with their brain.
Right.
Christian, we enter the church with our shoes. We put our brain down without our brain. That's why they're manipulating us. I'm going to give you one quick illustration. Let me give you this illustration. A pastor friend of mine told me one day. He said he was with. He had he kind of worked under he had a relationship with a big bishop in Africa. Okay, and this bishop, a faith preacher who preaches, wealth and, say it and claim it and every kind of thing. And of course, he was doing very well, financially huge, buoyant. But then all he was preaching is faith and people giving and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he said, then one day, through another big pastor that my friend was connected with, he happened to understand that this very big bishop, who has been preaching wealth and prosperity
preaching,
prosperity preaching, this very bishop has businesses. He has oil well. He has investment all over the place. So the money angel was not bringing the money. He wasn't waking up and find money under the pillow. He knew about investment. He was doing it. So my pastor friend said he was so angry with this bishop for many years. He had to pray for God to help him to kind of get over it. You see, what I want to tell our people is this, that there is nothing Unpassive is bringing that is demonic. Unpassive is going to help us to fulfill that vision. Unpassive is going to help us to preach the gospel without feeding on the people. You see, right now, because of the poverty level, because of the lack of resources and the funding, a lot of the pastors that want to run away or say things negative about Unpassive today, they're not able to really fulfill in life. They're not able to get their vision together. They're not able to do what they need to do. They are preaching with so much bitterness and anger and frustrations and everything like that. Health-wise, many of them are not doing well. But you see, money is not the root of evil. As many people have wrongly quoted that verse. that the love of is the love of money. Many people have wrongly said money is the root of all evil. Bible never said that. Bible said the love of money is the root of all evil. Love of money. So if you are grounded in the Lord, if you know God that has called you, you know your vision. Okay, when you come in and through Unpassive, you are financially liberated, you will be able to do what God has called you to do. And guess what? Let me say this also to them. When you come and you get into this, now chew the meat and throw the bones. If you come in, Unpassive has over 50 and still growing products. Now, if you are so holy and so sanctimonious, and you think that this is unholy, you have access to all the product to use and to monetize on. Then look at it and see the one that you think is unholy and don't do it. There are restaurants where they cook fish. You love fish, you go there, you eat, you say, I want fish. The same restaurant is cooking pork and you don't eat pork, you say, I don't want pork. The same restaurant cooks chicken and you don't want chicken, you want fish. So you go to the restaurant, you order for what you want. The restaurant will not, because of you, cook only fish, because all what you eat is fish.
Exactly.
So what I will say to them is that come on board.
Yeah, okay.
Then use the product, get familiar with the product that Unpassive that you think fit into your religious belief. And then forget about, just like you forget about the pork in that restaurant and you eat chicken or turkey or beef or whatever it is. I think that is what it is. So ignorance is what God needs to deliver our people from. I tell you honestly.
Right. I know, Dr. O, you have cited a few products out of the numerous we have. We can never list all of them though. You have cited Academy, which is one of our great products, and you say it's this sophisticated e-learning that is going to from where we're going to acquire this knowledge that we lack and is misleading us. Yes. You have talked about the other one. If you could use this time too. I've listened to a good number of our founding members. Some of them describe this powerful, another one, because it is relevant to everything you are doing. Maybe every Christian should join Unpassive because of this, so we cannot go without talking about it. So I'm talking here about Obless. Some of our people say Obless is the spice of Unpassive. Others say the signature of Unpassive. Others, they just call it names. So if you could explain Obless and how it functions and how it fits well in mission, in the church, in the humanitarian things, and so on, that would be of help. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Obless is, I think I joined those who said it's the signature of Unpassive. Okay, I mean it just so huge. You remember how everyone just went wire the day Obless was discussed with us and demonstrated. Now, people, whether you like it or not, people are raising funds. I mean, it's amazing to see that, like GoFundMe, for instance, generates over 100 million annually, which was a small percentage of the money they help people to raise. And there are several of them that, I didn't even know they existed until that time. Now, Obless is just what it is, Obless. Okay. Now, a lot of people
will be
able to really connect and be able to fund their passion through this Obless. Obless is such, the way it really was explained to us, it's not only meant for people go there to raise fund. I mean, of course, when you go there to raise fund, I mean, now GoFounder will retain 20, 25, 30, I don't know exactly how.
No, it's very minimal. If they will take something, it will not be more than 5%.
Okay. They will
I think I want to add, I am a co-founder, so if you permit me, I would like to participate in this so that people take home the real thing. Right. Obless, it's a crowdfunding, like those ones out there. The difference here is transparency.
Exactly.
Whatever we collect, we know that this is what we have taken home and this is how much we are giving out. The other ones like GoFundMe, they will take off up to 30%.
Whatever they help to collect.
Up to 30, which that is a rip-off. But with Unpassive, they are going to take something very, very minimal and maximum of 5% and leave the rest for the course.
Exactly. And in addition to that also, can you imagine you and I as founders, if you so wish, no one is going to be compelled to do it. If you so wish, you want to withdraw 1,000, 10,000, $50,000 from your wallet, and you are asked, can you donate 5,000 or can $5? Can you donate $5 or $10 or $20, $100, whatever you are comfortable with, and you do that? Can you imagine? Look at how many thousands of us. Look at how many millions of us that will be there. And then, of course, you put that together. So Unpassive is going to, in turn, be able to actually give this money out to people that are really, really caring, that are on ground, that are really caring for people. I mean, it's so huge, to be very honest. It's so huge that, and the transparency is there, the heart is there, the desire is there. I mean, a lot of ministries, a lot of countries, communities are going to really have the turnaround and, and receive the kind of blessing they never thought they could ever have in life. That is what Bless is really going to do, to people. I mean, it is just awesome. It's so huge that I just don't.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I know. When we start discussing on passive, you can't think well anymore because it's so much that. Yeah. So another one here. Now you are confirming, and you see nothing wrong with Unpassive at all. So the CEO is giving people opportunities like to register their businesses so that they can help drive traffic onto them. Have you considered registering your ministry as in church and your ministry as in FastMed, the charitable foundation? Have you considered getting a position for them? And what would that mean, either for the church or for the foundation, getting a position for them? Actually,
I did already. Okay. What's going to happen is that now in the registration, because really Unpassive is not. I need people to understand. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's no more about us. Right. If it's just about me, if I register one account as we have seen, and the mathematicians, of the company have made very clear to us over and over again, and they, conservatively. If it's not about eating and drinking, and I mean, by the grace of God, we are comfortable, we are doing well, and many founders are not really waiting for Unpassive to be able to eat and drink. But it's about what we can do, how we can benefit other people. So I didn't only register myself. I'm registered. My wife is registered. All my children, even my grandchildren, yet unborn, are registered, so that they are said. I inherited cutlass and oats, from my farmers, from my parents that are farmers when I was growing up. That's not what my children. Seriously, I know what it means to sleep on the mat, on the floor, without not even bed. I know what it means to walk around barefooted. I know what it means to. All these have been true. My children must not go through that. Yes. So they are settled forever by the grace of God. Okay, and the grandchildren. I mean, a lot of things when I say to my grandchildren, they can't understand. It's like no, grandpa, no, that's not possible. It can't be, and everything. Well, they are born here, so they don't know what Africa is like. So exactly. And then of course for the ministry, there are a couple of registrations for the ministry, so that it's not just so that I would do, because the ministry, the Bible says, precept upon precept. Ministry expounds. That's as you do one thing or the other. I give you an example. We were out there doing free medical mission in a village. We saw a child, a baby, 7 months old, who weighed less than a day old child.
Oh dear.
I mean, you see, she was in such a terrible state that I had to call my one of my nurses and my wife, and they took her immediately to the hospital. This is beyond this medical mission here, and was admitted in the hospital for a very long time, stabilized her and everything like that. They ran all the tests. They thought, she must have AIDS and everything like that. When they ran all the tests, there was no AIDS, nothing. It was severe malnutrition.
Okay.
That took us into another. So we've seen a whole lot of things. So visions continue to expand, they continue to grow and get bigger and bigger. You understand? By the time you do. Now I'm working in my capacity as chaplain. I'm working with the security, people on ground in different countries. By the grace of God, I've had the privilege of actually working with the police department in South Africa, in Sierra Leone. In Sierra Leone, in fact, as we speak, they're expecting us on ground. In Nigeria, also the police department, the civil defense, and all the rest of them. So there's so much. So the ministry is expanding. We have a lot to do. So we register ministry, we register ourselves. Wow. So that we can have just more than enough to do just virtually all that God has called us to do.
This
I mean,
really
I need those who have this mindset. They need to think again before it is too late, because it will come a time when this position of we no more be available. If they are sitting on the fence, they need to think again. Believe me, there is nothing evil, there is nothing wrong with passive. I mean, they go to store, they buy food from businesses. These businesses, these food stores sell what they don't eat. So what's the big deal? Does that make the store evil? And everything like that. So this is business, for God's sake. Right. This is business. People need to wise up and open their eyes and let us. So I mean, I don't know how else to get it across to them. Seriously,
it's so encouraging that I don't even know, I feel so so blessed, because I've been already, ever since we discovered the magnitude of unpassive. Remember, I'm the pigeon mouthpiece for our Africa, right? Yeah. That's so correct. The moment I discovered the magnitude of it, I've started selling, and I've introduced my children to nothing but to charitable foundation thing. Yeah. And they have so bought into it. They're still, but the oldest is just 12, but they have so bought into it. Amen. But to be honest, my challenges have always been, how do I even start? But then listening to you is just more than a blessing. And I really do hope that people listen to from start to end and hear what you have got to offer. And I believe that you'll find time to come until get settled. Yeah. So that you spread us as your roots and your tentacles. And
honestly, in fact, the job there is so huge out there. Yes. And let me just quickly say this. Unpassive is also making it very possible for us to also connect with ourselves. I mean, I wouldn't have known somebody like you, for instance, if not for the unpassive. Right. I was in one of our webinars, a lady from, I think, Gambia or somewhere like that. We were talking, and she got very excited with what we do and really want us to, connect and everything like that. And why on that same, there are other people and from Namibia. Okay, she's from Namibia, and we are connecting and with them. So I mean, we are connecting. There are several countries today. Correct. When I'm coming on ground, I mean, okay, this brother, that sister, this pastor, that evangelist, and everything like that. When I land, for instance, we are family, one huge global family, and then we embrace ourselves and everything like that. And then, of course, I mean, I know what to do on ground. I need the presence on ground, and you can navigate me around that. After I've left Nigeria for many years, by the time I started going, I had to learn a whole lot of things over, because things have really changed. So talk less of it. When I go to a country that I've never even been, I mean, Uganda people are expecting. One day somebody sent me a video. Comfort. Yeah. This will really blow your mind. They've been requesting for us to come and help us. Come to Macedonia. Come and help us. We need your ministry here and everything like that. And because of limited resources, we're not able to go. One day they recorded a video and sent me a video. On that video, a woman was pregnant and was in labor. And she went to the hospital. Hospital said, no, you can't come in. We need X amount deposit before we can take you in. She doesn't have the money. And they actually pushed her out. She sat by the roadside in front of the hospital. She was in labor. People gather around that. They begged the hospital. They said, no, we are not here. We don't beg, or we need money. And then so nobody could give the money. Comfort. This woman died on the roadside. Yeah. While she was dying, a nurse among the passerby that were pitying and everything like that, run quickly, bought a razor blade. In Africa, one of the countries in Africa, I'm not going to mention him, cut her open and took the baby out. And sanction and do whatever she needed to do, she can normally do with the baby, but the woman died. And then they sent me the video and said, look at what we are going to. You want, I cry for this. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what? Yeah, I think the need is huge out there, period.
Yes.
You just need to understand that it's not about you. Yes. Look at what a person can help you to do for the people out there that I need, period.
Exactly, because I think that we are not spending all this time here to just talk and show off what we are capable of. I'm not saying we, because I've not done anything near what you are doing. we're not here to show off, because I think that you need time to just relax. If you are not doing anything, watch TV, right? Or you go for a walk, you will not sit here. So it's really, I pray that everybody watches this and makes use. Last time I listened to Dr. Bill Williams, and I was like, wow, I was just amazed. You are just like adding onto it. The other day I was listening to Dr. Modi from India. There's a lot people are offering out there. And if we don't listen to your testimonies, you that you have gone ahead, we will sit there and think that there's nothing to do. Meanwhile, there's more than enough. Yes, and Unpassive is here. So I think that let me not steal the show, because it is yours. I want to give you an opportunity now before we finally round up. If you think there's another important thing you would like to tell our people, then just use this opportunity to do that. And before we finally round up with our show. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I honestly want to say thank you very much for having me. I mean, I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful, and I'm giving you my word. Anytime you need us to kind of expatiate on any of the areas, and of course, you have read a little bit also about what we've done. We've not even able to touch many of the other things that we've done. But like you said, it's not about us. My appeal to our people, to everyone that is listening, is this. Unpassive is not about us. It's not about me. When we are telling people to please come on board, it's not about us. We said, I mean, some of you don't need anything, but you see, when I look at foundations like Rockefeller Foundation, when I look at many of these foundations out there, that are living decades upon decades after the visionaries has gone. It's simply because they took some serious step while they were alive to make sure that this vision would not die with them. Okay? And that's exactly what it is. I want us to think beyond ourselves. I want us to kind of come on board. If God has raised our leader up, Ash is not God, but is God sent.
Exactly.
Okay, it's a general like no other. I mean, this man said Unpassive is correction to corruptions. I mean, it's coming to really help. Right now, nobody can sincerely understand the man Ashim Farah. Give it some few months when we launch to the public, you will understand, you will know what this man, you see, a lot of people they do not realize what is happening right now. Until, can you imagine I mean, your vision is already dying, you're already fading out. Some people, because of lack of resources, it looked like God didn't call you and everything like that. I mean, but all of a sudden, you have what it takes now to really get these things done. Many preachers are preaching with so much bitterness and anger. If you don't tithe, it will be tithe for you. How on earth are you causing people when simply because you are frustrations? You understand? So there are a lot we can do. But when, let me speak to my pastor colleagues out there. If you plug yourself into this, you will preach the gospel without any anger, without any bitterness, without anything. You don't have to depend on tithe and offering. You understand? Patronizing and actually, doing any kind of thing to put fear into people so that they can put money in the offering plate, even when they don't have it. You will preach the gospel. A lot of people are in need of even your finances, but you are sucking from them right now because you don't have any other means. You got to feed your family too. Unpassive, we put an end to that. And then, of course, to Christian brothers and sisters out there, get into the Unpassive. One of the things that church need to do for God's sake, let us explain to our people, let us tell them that there are investments, there are companies, that are a lot they can do out there. I mean, one of the things I've done in the past in my ministry by the grace of God is I organize real estate conferences and seminars. In the 80s, when there were a lot of programs in America that will help people get their, regulate their standing. I organized, a lot of seminars with immigration officers and everything, and immigration lawyers and all the rest of them. So to tell people how to legitimately normalize your document and how to legitimately buy houses and do real estate and all the rest of them like that. So we need to open up, we need to teach our people that money will never fall from the sky for God. It will never happen. It won't happen. We need to help people up into this and just get out of all the ignorance that is really eating us so deep and really destroying, the body of Christ and everything that we stand for. I mean, how can you be a Christian and don't have the passion and the mind of Christ, for God's sake? Christ fed people, spirit, soul, and body. How dare you feed on the people rather than feeding them? So Unpassive is going to bring this so much liberation and support and into everything that is out there and put correction into the corruption, both in the church, in the political setting, in every area. That is what it is. So I urge everyone, come in and I've done few investment in the past. How much does it take to come on board, for God's sake? Right. The money that you can spend in one dinner take one of your friends, or you have your wife and 2 children, you go to spend more than it takes to come on board of Unpassive. 102 with all the charges, only $97 with them plus $5, then 102 to come in. That's it. So what? Maybe the amount is so small, but some people really don't think that anything good can come out of it. You wait and see. Our CEO said, don't bother to explain to anyone. Let them be unbelief. Just come in. When the time comes, you will see that you will get more than even you expect. I don't know why you just can't. You just can't put all your everything where you need to put them and jump in. Okay, I just want to shout out there. Don't miss it. The train is about to leave. Come on board, and let's roll together. You can never regret. And then again, if you come in and you study more and you think, no, this is not for me, your money is refundable. You will get your $97 back. So it's zero. Zero. What do we call that?
Risk-free.
Risk. Yeah. It's zero risk. So get in. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Dr. O. I will never forget this day that you started another different relationship with you and I. I don't know about others, but I'll never let you go until you answer me. You are not God, but God will answer you to answer me.
Amen.
I think that you've got a lot to do, and your leadership position is a rare one, I must say. And I really do appreciate, I'm so honored that you could really make it to this platform. And I trust God that people will watch and listen every word that you're saying here. It's not for nothing. I pray that it goes a long way to achieve its purpose. So I really thank you. And like I said, you will always come back for us because we need your brains. So whoever is watching this, please share this widely. And whoever shares it with you and you find sense in what we have just discussed here, go back and let the person show you how to register and become a member of Unpassive. Subscribe and wait for more interesting episodes of Empowerment Talks. I think if anybody watches this to the end and doesn't feel empowered, I think I will pray for you, like Ash says, that if Unpassive cannot help you, then somebody needs to pray for you. So thank you so much, Dr. O, and we'll see you again really, really soon.
Thank you, Comfort. I really appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you.
You too. Thanks. Bye.